Instead of doing top 5 videos for every category, with everything just being pretty good at the end of 2025, I thought we'd just cut to the chase and do it like this. This is the gaming setup I would actually buy, or if I had to dump my whole inventory and keep only one thing from each category, these are those things. Fair warning, there won't be a lot of budget or bang for your buck stuff. This is the loadout I would personally choose. I actually want to start with the desk itself because I've enjoyed this thing so much since I got it back in May of 24. This is the Secretlab Magnus Pro XL. I love that the keypad is set in the actual desktop itself, so no wires, no mounting. The main attraction with this desk though is how it routes all the power and cable management. All the power comes in on the leg at the bottom with a monster power cord which I have routed through a UPS battery backup. Then the power strip sits inside this huge tray that runs the full length of the back with a fold down cover, so you can literally just throw all your cables inside this tray, close the top, and it looks cable managed. It's still the best solution I've seen, and if you're somebody that likes to swap stuff in and out on your desk a lot, you can do that without having to do 20 to 30 minutes of cable management. And these little magnetic cable guides are amazing to help position cables on the top of the desk and underneath to create a look like this. I would kill for them to make these in blue. The desk mat surface is just a big magnetic replaceable sheet that comes in a few different looks. I went with fake leather. It's been pretty durable and easy to clean. The only gripe I have is that it compresses where you use either the magnetic cable guides or especially where you clamp stuff like the desk riser or a monitor arm. The clamped sections do not bounce back over time. These are permanently imprinted. There's tons of accessories, like you can mount your PC under it if you want, even this big O11 Dynamic. And the desk riser is pretty clutch, but over time I've just come to run it flat with a monitor arm and my PC on the desk. It's not cheap, but it's a solid investment. It's over-engineered, it's overbuilt, it's really stable, and the motors have remained quieter over time than my numerous uplift desks. This usually costs like $11.50 as I run it, cheaper still for the non-XL version, but there's a $200 off holiday discount right now, and they include the desk mat. And they just launched like a light version called the Evo. I can't speak on it, but it's more accessible still from a cost standpoint, and it looks like the main difference is the cable tray isn't quite as built out as the full fat version. I've been really happy with this. I can't say enough good things about it. If you have the coin, I highly recommend it. For the keyboard, this should come as no surprise. For me, it's the Wooting 60HE. I run it in a Tofu Redux case with some simple GMK white on black keycaps, and I did just recently update it to the V2 internals with the new Ticken switches. These are very good. Analog input, Hall effect is really where you want to be in 2025 if you game even remotely competitive or if you play anything that requires really tight input timing. Personally, I like a 60% for gaming because of the footprint. I like to be able to run my keyboard and mouse pretty centered under my monitor, and this is purely a gaming setup for me. If I needed a hybrid setup to do either editing or productivity too, I would opt for the 80HE to have the F-Row because editing shortcuts can get crazy deep. The elephant in the room is that there are now numerous more affordable competing boards. If you want to or need to go that way because of budget, or if you specifically want a 65 or 75% layout, go for it. I like Wooting. They make one thing and they do it really well. They innovate, they use only top quality components on their PCBs, they have a 4-year warranty, they'll take care of you if something goes south, and behind that, they're just good people. I could keep going, but you get the idea. Whichever way you go, just go analog input. Numpad always seems to be a sticking point when people start looking at analog boards, and there are full-size versions available out there, but there are also compact 96% boards, which I like better. I haven't tried this stuff from Keychron in a really long time, but I've got this Vanguard Pro 96 from Corsair that I'll finally drop the full review on in a couple weeks. Corsair seems to be moving in a good direction right now. The build on this feels good and it runs off a web-based config, not iCUE, and I like the idea of not running any kind of always-on full-time control software on my machine if I can get away with it. This is something you'll always see on my desk too. This is a Carpio 2.0 from Delta Hub, and this particular version is the limited Bad Seed Tech Edition that just went on sale as soon as this video went live. This is a palm rest that supports your wrist, and it's designed to move around on your desk with your hand. Being honest, I had seen these around in different setup videos and on Instagram, and I thought they were total snake oil. They're not, and there's a big reason why I swear by these and endorse these so hard. A couple years back, I started having a real problem with wrist pain in my right hand, my mouse hand. This was a near constant repetitive stress injury caused by the gym, gaming, and editing for hours every day. Basically 3 very important areas of my life. I was a strong candidate for surgery, and they told me I was going to have to cut back on one or more of those 3 things, and I just really wasn't trying to hear that. I decided to give it a shot, and now, over 2 years later, I'm still able to enjoy all those things every day with essentially no wrist pain. Simple as that. These are available in both small and large, left and right hand. Price is $34.90, same price as the standard version, so we're not taxing just because my name's on it. We're able to do that because of how we package these. So you'll get a full Carpio unit in black and then the custom colored pads in separate packaging, and you can swap the pads out. These pads are not available as a separate individual purchase. I understand what that feels like if you currently already own a Carpio, and I urge you not to buy a full additional unit just to feel like you're supporting me, but if you've been on the fence about checking checking these out, please do. They're available right now at deltahub.io. No idea how fast they're gonna go, but again, no pressure. Please don't rebuy a product you already own. Please don't spend money you don't have. This is simply a way for me to work with a company that I really like to do something cool with a product that I feel has made a huge difference for me personally. For audio, I have a ton of options, but I almost always go with a wireless headset simply because of convenience. I like wireless. I like the convenience of having a mic right there when I need it without having to go look for it. I don't like having a mic arm on my desk all the time. I like being able to get up and walk around and still retain audio. I like using the same setup at my desk as I do when I'm laying on the couch playing on the big TV. This was the hardest category to pick one clear option, but after a lot of debate, I gotta give it to the Astro A50 Gen 5. I'm talking the $300 base model, not the $400 X model with the HDMI routing. Historically, I have never been a fan of the A50, but the Gen 5 fixed every issue I had. It sounds great, it has zero connection issues, it's light and comfortable, the mic is probably the best in all of wireless gaming, and it plays equally nice with console as it does PC. It has simultaneous Bluetooth, it has chat mix, it charges in the base station, it powers on when you pick it up, it works equally well for single player immersive stuff and competitive gaming. It has a mobile app for EQ and settings, no full-time software needed, it's built well, and it can take some knocks. The only negatives for me are that it definitely looks like a gaming product. If I want to move this to the living room, I have to take this entire base station with me, and it doesn't have active noise cancellation. There are a few options if you need ANC, but the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro Wireless at $349 is my favorite of those. And at this price point, the Maxwell sounds better than this, but the A50 clears the Maxwell in every other metric. A very close runner-up and coming in a full $100 cheaper is the Fractal Design Scape. No chat mix, no simultaneous Bluetooth. It does have EQ that travels with the headset, and it runs off a web app. No full-time software here either. It's built great, looks like a more grown-up product, like a high-end pair of wireless headphones if you're ducking that gamer aesthetic. It sounds really good. The mic is up there, not the best. It is a fold-down style that's also completely detachable, and you have beamform mics here as well. The biggest thing is that some people, especially on Reddit, seem to be split right down the middle when it comes to comfort. Now, I can wear this thing for about 2 to 3 hours before this headband starts to cause me some pain on the top of my head, whereas the Astro, I can wear this thing all day, no problem. It also charges in the base station, also powers on when you pick it up. I love the separate dongle here that's stored in the base station, so if I want to move to the living room, all I have to do is pull this out. I don't have to take the whole base station with me. It's a great way to spend $200 on audio, but again, if I could only pick one, I'd eat the price increase and go with the Astro, mainly down to long wear comfort, the simultaneous Bluetooth, and the more natural sounding mic. Wireless is not going to be everyone's first choice, but the sound quality of wireless has really come a long way over the past couple years. Wired will still generally sound better than wireless unless you're buying at the absolute budget end, but before you dismiss wireless headsets for being overpriced, consider pricing a DAC amp, a headphone or IEM, a mic, and a mic arm, and then see what that looks like. You might be surprised. Now, mouse is another one that's a very personal choice. Size and shape first, then number of available buttons, and weight. There's a lot of factors. I like a medium frame, symmetrical mouse. Low front height is a bonus. I do need side buttons, but 2 generally gets it done. I dabble with fingertip grip from time to time, but my main comfortable grip is relaxed claw. I struggled pretty hard with this one too, but I finally settled on my longest running main ever, the Razer Viper V3 Pro. This has been in use since April of 2024. It's held up really well. I've had zero issues with it, and I'm still using my first run review copy. Weighs in at 54 grams. Anything sub 60 I consider lightweight. This will cost you like $139.99 these days. It's just good, dependable, predictable, built really well. The only negative about this mouse is that to use its own mouse acceleration feature, you need to have Synapse running. Outside of that, you can save all your settings to one of the onboard memory profiles and not run Synapse at all, and then just run something like Raw Excel if you want to play with acceleration. Say what you want about Razer, their mice specifically are legit. There's 2 others that made my choice pretty difficult, the first being the new Asus Harp 2 Ace. In a lot of ways, it's essentially like a better version of the Viper V3 Pro. Very close in size and shape. It does up to 8K wireless or wired. It's got equally impressive latency. It's marginally lighter. My copy weighs in just over 47 grams. It has Bluetooth mode for productivity and has dongle storage on the body, managing that 8K polling with just this tiny dongle. And there's web config too, so no need to run Armoury Crate. Unfortunately, my early copy has some really annoying trigger rattle on both mouse 1 and 2, but the big thing for me is that I just seem to land my shots more consistently with the Viper. Now, I don't think that's a hardware or a sensor thing. I think it's a byproduct of me essentially using the same mouse for almost 2 years. This usually goes for $169.99, but you can find it cheaper right now with holiday sales. The other runner-up for me is the X2H from Pulsar. The X2H size 2 or medium might be my favorite mouse shape of all time. Slim waist, low front height, thick in the rear with the hump pushed all the way back. I've owned numerous versions of the X2H. My custom version weighs in at like 57 grams, and the new Crazy Light versions are coming in more like 43 grams. These run for $129.99. If I were to ever do a collab mouse with Pulsar, this shape would be the one for sure. As for mousepad, any decent slow to medium control surface works well. I typically go with Lethal Gaming Gear stuff. I'm currently using their Jupiter Pro, their slowest pad. I have shaky aim, and I feel like this pad really helps that feel more stable. I ran their Saturn Pro for the longest time, and after I did a video looking at their entire line, I switched to the Jupiter. It just never switched back. I'll be dropping a video shortly on some of the more interesting mice I've tried on the back half of this year, particularly this new dual sensor mouse from G-Wolves. And there are plenty of cheaper options out there for mice, including just some straight up clones. And I hear from some people I trust that the difference between the clones and the top tier stuff is not as much as the price would suggest. A lot of it comes down to build quality, warranty, and how easily you can return them if you don't like them. Monitor is going to close us out today, and it's really simple. If you have the cash, buy an OLED. It's worth the hype. Any OLED, really. There are subtle differences between WOLED, QD-OLED, different coatings, etc., but just getting into any OLED is going to be a major jump from any other monitor tech. The secret is that each individual pixel turns on and off, so there's no backlight. That means blacks are really deep black, not dark gray. There's basically no light anywhere there's not supposed to be. That adds a ton of contrast, which comes across as depth in the image. It makes HDR look incredible, and OLED has some impossibly fast gray to gray transition times too. The one I've been using a lot lately is the newest Tandem OLED from Asus. This is 27 inches, 1440p at 480 Hz with a true black glossy coating. It also does 720 Hz, but at 720p. It looks pretty rough and I never use it for that. It's an amazing monitor, and if you play mainly competitive, it's probably the one to own right now. But again, if I could pick only one, it would be their dual mode 32 inch that does 240 at 4K and 480 at 1440p. It's a WOLED and has their true black glossy coating as well. I fully reviewed the slower version. This one is exactly the same, just faster refresh rates. I like the 32 4K experience for single player stuff for sure, but I also like it for some competitive stuff. You can see every little detail no matter how far away it is. And this looks great if you use upscaling or even bump the resolution down to 1440p, and 240 Hz is plenty fast for most situations. If not, you can run 1080p at 480 Hz and even simulated modes that make the display area 27 inches or 24.5. Outstanding image and very versatile, so if you play a wide range of stuff, this is it. It's also pretty accurate, so you can do content creation on this no sweat. Full transparency, you'll see a lot of Asus monitors on my desk because they reliably hit me up before stuff comes out. Other brands I have to chase down after they've already launched and the information's already out there. It's just a part of doing content creation as a job. But that also means I've seen and owned a lot of different Asus monitors over the past few years. Most of them have seen long-term use. I've never had any issues, never experienced any burn-in. They have really strong factory calibration for the most part, and I would spend my money on them 100%. But I can also vouch for Alienware and Gigabyte. They've got some really solid stuff too, so just buy whatever brand you're comfortable with as long as it's OLED. That's not a slight toward MSI or anyone else. I've just personally never used their stuff. When OLED first came out, brightness and burn-in were both very big concerns. I'm not terribly concerned with either of those factors these days, and with Tandem coming out, it looks like it's going to make those two things even less of an issue than they already are. One downside that is almost universally true about OLED is that you will get some backlight flicker in darker areas when you're running variable refresh rate. If you're running a fixed refresh rate, you don't see this at all. And also, I'll caution you about QD OLED. If you're running that in a really bright room, lots of ambient light in the room, those blacks can lift to like a purplish color. For me, from best to worst, it's glossy WOLED, including Tandem, then QD OLED, then matte WOLED. Most of the top tier, newest, fastest stuff is around the $1,000 to $1,100 mark, but this segment has been moving so fast over the past couple years that there's steals to be had on older units, particularly around the holidays. So that's the rundown. Hall effect keyboard for sure. Mouse is a super personal choice. You can go all the way down the rabbit hole looking at different mouse pads, but a general control surface will do you right 90% of the time. Audio, again, super personal and all over the place with budget, but I'm a wireless headset fan. And OLED is the truth. It must be experienced to understand it, and it will probably ruin you on any other monitor tech once you do. Again, I'll link everything we talked about and the associated full reviews down in the description. Don't forget to go check out the Carpio drop. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Stay up.